Today we're going to be talking about why we don't listen to each other, how that affects our relationship, and what we can do to be better at listening to each other. So stick around till the end because we're going to be answering your questions. Let's get into it, Half Past Crew. Welcome to
Half Past Happy Monday!
All right, that was a little much. Welcome, everybody. Today is Monday. I mean, not when we're recording this, obviously, but hopefully that intro energized you for this amazing Monday.
Yes, we're hoping, it's 7 a.m., it's bright and early when this episode is coming out, so we're hoping that you have a fantastic start to your Monday.
You already know what we're talking about, but we want to give you guys a few updates about ourselves. So, Hallie, what are you up to?
It's a great question. We've been doing a lot of things recently. We're in the midst of wedding season. Actually, tomorrow, we're recording this on a Friday, so Saturday is our last wedding of the year. Crazy.
Insane.
Yeah, doing video for it. I don't have to do much work. I'm just kind of there as your assistant. It's great. We're going to have a great time. I'm excited. The weather here, which for November, shockingly, has been really nice. So we've been outside a lot, which has been really good for our mental health, for sure, mental and physical well-being, given the last episode was about seasonal depression. So we're really trying to stick to that, trying to hold ourselves accountable. So been outside. We have a goal, actually, we should probably share because it's pretty awesome. We're hoping to qualify for the greatest marathon to us in the world.
The New York City Marathon.
Yes!
It would be amazing to be able to run that marathon as our first marathon. We ran a half marathon before. We're going to run another one next year, and hopefully we can qualify. We are both track runners. I also ran cross country. She managed cross country. We're pretty good at running, so hopefully we can hit that goal. But we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to sign up for the Indianapolis race this time next year, which I know is far away, but it's giving us enough time to properly train and get into a good habit. And we'll definitely be doing like 5Ks and stuff before then, but our goal is to do a half marathon next October and then use that, which we have to run fast because the New York City times are very fast to qualify, which if we don't, there are other ways, like you can get in by fundraising and they have a lottery that they do. So like potentially we could get that. But I mean, the easiest way, not easy actually, is to qualify because pretty much for sure that you're guaranteed in. So yeah, been up to that. Really looking forward to that. It'll keep us busy during the winter. I'm excited. Working 9 to 5 every single day. Recording podcasts, doing content stuff, doing lots of family photo shoots and grad shoots and like everything because the weather's been so nice and the color's beautiful. And let's see, what else have we been up to? What have we been up to?
And then for me, you kind of went through your stuff.
I did.
For me, I'm going to be doing a lot of travel for work. So if anybody's in San Fran area, hit me up. I'll be out there for a long time. So that's kind of the only thing I'll be doing. A lot of that. And also posting a lot on Instagram and TikTok.
Ooh.
So make sure you guys follow along and give us 5 stars on this podcast, subscribe to this podcast, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Our goal is to hit 10K by the end of the year on Instagram. So we are almost there, about 500 away from 10K. So we're almost there. So we'll continue posting on there to get us to that benchmark. And then from there, TikTok, we're still posting on TikTok. We're trying to grow our personal TikToks more so than Half Past Just TikTok. So make sure you follow us personally as well. At Suketu Patel and at
Hallie Patel.
Exactly. So
yeah, we've been making a lot of TikTok videos actually recently. We've been getting inspired by Dancing with the Stars because we're obsessed. I mean, I've been watching it for years, but I got him to watch it with me this year, and we've been dancing a lot. We just posted a dancing video, yesterday for us, and you should go check it out because it's a start. Okay, but people liked it. People really liked it, so I feel like we should do it more.
I think it's a great idea to do dance videos, but
it'll switch it up a little bit.
I'm really bad at dancing, so
you'll get there.
Hopefully I can loosen up a little bit.
Just practice.
I'm super stiff.
You can't be as stiff as Harry on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
No, and speaking of social media, we're switching up our posting schedule a little bit. So we're only going to be doing podcast reels Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, we're going to be doing a little bit different style video, whether it's answering questions from you guys that we get submitted on our stories or our website, or we do some kind of like couple skit or like dance video. And then we also want to start posting some more pictures, whether that be taken from this podcast or like other pictures that we have that I feel like would pertain to it. So we're switching it up a little bit of variety for you guys.
Yeah, it should be a lot better.
Yeah.
All right. That's kind of all of our updates. Mm-hmm. Let's move on to why you don't listen to me.
Really? Because I could say that you don't listen to me.
I was just talking to you a minute ago and you didn't say a word to me. I said, hey, Hallie, can you clean the table off so the podcast doesn't see it? And then I just eventually just switched the angle, so now you can't see the table anyways.
The table's clean.
It's clean.
It's clean.
Who cleaned it?
You.
Oh.
But as a married couple, we have split responsibilities in this household. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I don't have to do it every time, do I?
I understand that, but I was feeding Sylvie. Okay, you guys get the point. Sometimes.
Oh, your knife is so hard.
Oh my gosh. Sometimes we don't listen to each other. And it can be a problem.
Yeah.
Here and there. I don't know, why don't we listen to each other?
I don't know. I think, not to be that person, but I think I am a really good listener. And a lot of people definitely come to me with things because I am a good listener and I just, I sit and absorb what you're saying. And I remember this has kind of been a thing in our relationship for a while because you have many great qualities, but listening isn't necessarily your strong suit. And I feel like there are a lot of people out there in their relationships that can probably relate to this as well and would say, oh yeah, well, my partner doesn't listen to me and it really affects me this way. And I try and tell them to listen to me and maybe to try and consider how I feel about this, and they don't. And it definitely is an issue in relationships, minor or big, on the scale of how severe it is, but it definitely can affect relationships.
When we were in like elementary/intermediate school, where one of the biggest things that we were tested on was reading and comprehension, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I could not do, I could do very well, was read. I can read. Well, not very well, but I can read, okay? It's the comprehension part that gets me. It's those ones where you have to read an essay and then there's like 5 questions that you have to answer about what you just read. And I could never just answer the question. I'd have to go back. I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that and that and that. Active listening is identical to reading and comprehension, okay? Being able to hear the other person and then take that information and spit it back is a skill that you have to build. It's not something that can just be boom, there. Maybe for you it might be like that, but it is difficult, it is hard to do, and it's something I'm working on. Okay?
Well, I think it comes easier to others. Like it comes easier to some people than it does. Like you said, it doesn't come easy to you.
It does not.
It's something you have to work at.
So like when you go up to somebody and they say their name, do you remember that name?
Most of the time, yes.
I never remember the name.
Well, it depends on the situation, like where we're at, right? If it's hard for me to hear and I don't know what they're saying, then I'm already going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember, but like I don't.
I met Greg the other day. Not really. I met Greg the other day, but I was like, hey, nice to meet you. He says, my name is Greg. What's your name? I said, Suketu. I'm like, shoot, I already forgot your name. Like, it's like immediate. Whenever I start talking, I immediately forget. It's like my memory. I think I might have to go to the hospital and get my brain scanned.
I think that wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean,
my goodness.
Your brain works in mysterious ways, for sure. Why do you think that it is like you? Why do you think it's so hard for you to like listen to people and really comprehend what they're saying? Do you not care? Or
I do care. The issue with me is I have selective hearing. So like whenever you're talking to me and I'm doing something important like editing or working my job,
or you're on looking at your YouTube analytics and I try and say, honey, something like I need your advice or opinion, or I need your attention for just a second.
But I'm in like full focus mode, and whenever I'm in full focus mode, my ears just turn off for some reason. Like it
Oh,
just
they
like,
just do? Well, that's funny how that works.
I don't get it.
They just magically turn off. Wow, that's crazy that happens to you. That's how it works.
It's a problem, and it's not good. Why does it? Do you think that affects our relationship?
Yes,
Why?
massively. Definitely it makes me feel not heard by you.
That's
no pun
sad.
intended. Yeah.
That's
You're not
so
listening. It makes
sad.
me feel not heard. Well, I mean, there are certain situations where you listen to me more than others, but like I can say let me think of some examples. Like, okay. Makes me feel not heard. Makes me really mad for one thing when you don't listen to me, and it's annoying because I hate having to explain myself over and over. You guys have no idea like how many times don't even I have to explain myself so many times for you to understand what I'm saying. You're like, "What? Huh? What?" Every time.
Let's say you say something once and I don't hear you and I say, "Honey, can you say that one more time?"
You blame me for being too quiet. You're like, "Well, you sound like a rat when you talk, or you talk like you're like a little mouse."
You do talk soft. And even in this edit, when I'm editing this, I have to increase whenever she talks. I have to increase the audio because she talks so quietly.
Your ear should just get accustomed to that at this point.
Plus, I'm losing hearing in my right ear right now.
No, you said it's getting better.
I have tinnitus, everybody.
You said it's
Does
getting
anybody have a solution to tinnitus? Because I would love...
Hey, we've got some doctors and med students that listen. Can you help us out?
Yeah. Do I need to replace my ear?
Does he need a new brain as well? And then he's got 2 dead toes on his right foot. Can we talk about that?
Apparently, hearing, once it goes bad, you can't fix it. Like, if you go to a concert a bunch of times and your hearing degrades every single time, there's no way to fix hearing. Like, that's not like a thing you can do.
Well, because in that case, you just have to take preventative measures. Like, whenever I go to a concert, I always put earplugs in because it just hurts. Going to Gerba, that made my head spin, my ears ring, everything. That was hard.
That was bad.
So, I guess I can see how that would make it hard. But, okay.
Back on topic.
Let me think of some examples of times that you don't listen.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll think of some examples of when you don't listen.
Okay. Okay. When I make plans, I don't even, okay. When I make plans, I just don't even tell you anymore because I'll say it to you 50 times and you still will like the day will come when we have the plans and you're like, what? Huh? You never told me. Oh my God, yeah, you never told me. Like ever. Like I just put it on the calendar from now on.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. If it's not on the calendar, it's not in my brain.
Because you just choose not to listen to it.
That's not why. It's just I can't remember.
You said it yourself. You have selective hearing.
No, I have bad memory as well.
Okay, well, you gotta try a little harder. If you
Do you think that's the problem? Do you think the trying is the problem? Like,
I think that's
you
part
always
of it.
say if you cared, you'd listen. You always say that.
Well, yeah, because that's a good point.
But I do care.
But you're not listening.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, I don't know.
But like, even if I know I care about you and want to listen, why do I not listen sometimes? Why do you think I don't listen sometimes?
Because I don't think you care about everything I say, which is fair. You don't have to care about everything that I say.
I do care.
But it's like okay, let me think of a specific example. So if I say we're going out to dinner with these people on Thursday night, and you'll be like, okay, and then you'll like walk away, and then like that's on Tuesday or whatever. Say Wednesday comes, I remind you, okay, and then Thursday comes, the day that we actually have the plans, and you're like, what? You never told me. What? We're so busy. We don't have time to go to dinner and like stuff. You say stuff like that all the time.
Okay.
So it makes me think, okay, does he just not care? Like I made these plans for us. Like, during October, we're usually really busy, and I always put things on our calendar. But like I want to go to the orchard or something to get cider, or like I want to do their fall day or whatever. I want to go get a pumpkin. You like won't remember that. Or if I'm specifically dropping hints, like saying flat out saying what I want coffee, you'll just be like, okay. But like it doesn't happen. So I don't think you fully are like grasping what I'm saying. Because you have selective hearing. Because you hear I want coffee and you're like, oh, money. Nope. Because you don't care.
Well, in my brain, you explained it pretty well. So I have nothing to say to that.
You have no words?
It's just something that I need to be better at, and I'll get there eventually. Even if I'm 50, I'll get there. But I don't want you to have to deal with that. So if you want to find somebody else,
What? No.
I understand.
I don't want that.
Okay, good.
Okay, I have a few more examples. Like when I'm holding Sylvie and I say, "Look, should I put the dogs away?"
Yeah, you can't give those out for free.
I got slippers
Kidding
on.
me?
Don't look at my dogs. I got to put them back in their
You gotta
cage.
charge money for that.
So like if I'm like this just happened today. Like I'm holding Sylvie and I'm like, Suketu, look, like she's doing something so cute, like she's pawing at my face or whatever. And you don't look. You look like maybe 15 seconds later, and I'm like, the moment has already passed. Like, what do you want from me? Like, I can't make her do that again. Or you'll just look at me and you'll be like, sorry, I'm busy. And I'm like, what? I just wanted you to look at something. What?
Listen.
Like, please just listen to me.
If I'm doing something, okay, this is an opinion, okay? If I am doing something important.
On your phone?
No, I was working. I was literally I was looking at an email or something, okay? Whatever I was doing. I was busy, okay? And in that split second, I was focused on making sure I get through what I was doing initially. Once I get through that, then I'll be like, okay, focus change, boom, done. And then I look and then the moment's over and then I missed it and then I feel bad about it. But there's what do I do in that situation? Do I just stop what I'm doing and just boom?
Maybe.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Maybe I'll just like stop saying.
No,
look.
I don't want you to stop.
But do you
fine,
see where
fine.
I'm at?
I'll stop.
Do
I'll
you
stop doing what I'm doing and immediately put the attention on what you're telling me to look at.
Okay, well, like flip the situation. What if you're saying, Hallie, look. And
when
I don't.
have you ever looked?
I always do. I look right on time.
Well,
Like
are you ever doing
but
anything
like
important?
But like, how would you feel? How do you feel when that happens? Because I do that. I'm not perfect, and you aren't. Like, neither one of us is perfect.
I do get angry. So, like today, I did something. I was like, okay, I'll wait. I was like, hey,
What did
Hallie,
you do?
look. I was like, hey, you don't remember because you were doing something. Yeah. Yeah, you were doing something. And then I was like, okay, I'll wait.
I'm not saying we have to be perfect all the time.
And
just to try a little harder most of the time.
And I said, hey, look at this. And you were like, that's exactly what she did. She was just looking at her phone or something. And then I said, okay, I'll wait. And then the second I said, okay, I'll wait, she put down her phone and then looked at me.
But like, I could even say that and you'd be like, okay.
No, whenever you say, okay, I'll wait, I'm like, oh,
Then you're like, damn, she's mad.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like I was saying, the thing is like, okay, if this is happening in your relationship and it is frustrating and I understand that, it's not fair though either that I hold you to that expectation of being perfect at something, right? Like unfortunately there are going to be things that are more important than me, and that's fine. Like,
Okay, wait, this is recording, right? I got to make sure I get this clip for her whenever she's getting mad at me again.
but I'm just saying, overall, you don't have to be perfect and on all the time. I would just appreciate if you tried a little harder sometimes. Like, let me give you another example. Like, I was going specifically through my Snapchat. Can you get your finger out of my toes?
Sorry.
Thank you. Stop. Suketu has a foot fetish, everyone.
No, I do not. Don't tell people that.
No, that was a joke in high school that everybody, like, I don't know how that got
I just
out.
went with it, I was just like,
You didn't deny it.
Yeah, because I was like, people think that. Might as well let them think that.
It was kind of, like, we have funny pictures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There were, like, some pictures of you with my feet in, like, Christmas socks.
Mm-hmm.
People liked that one.
Yep.
That was pretty funny. Anyways, so in my Snapchat memories, I saw like 3 videos in the last week of, I sent these to your sister and her husband. Because we talk about this all the time, because you always say, oh, it's a genetic thing, like we don't listen. So me and Suketu's brother-in-law relate on this because he also claims that Suketu's sister, his wife, does not listen, and that you guys are very similar in that way. So it's a joke between us. So I sent these Snapchats to them, and it's like of me saying something and you're driving and you just have the most blank expression on your face, and I'll be like, okay, like, what do you think about that? And you're like, what? Like you flat out have no idea what I said. And you'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I take the video and you're like laughing and you're like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, guess you just didn't hear like anything I said. So it's just funny because that's why I have the videos saved. I sent those to your sister.
I'm sorry. Okay. No, it was one thing. Now we know that we're bad at listening. Okay. We both are bad.
Yeah, I know.
I might be a little worse.
Give me some examples of like.
I've already given examples of you.
Really?
Yes.
Do I? Okay, but like,
It's
give me a
whenever
percentage.
you're on your phone, or you are. Whenever you're on your phone, or when you haven't exercised all day, like you get into this mood that's just a little bit excessive.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it's a little bitchy.
No, I mean,
wow.
I'm not gonna say that, but you know.
No, I can be that way though. I hate that. I hate when I get that way, and I would appreciate if you called me out on it because I'll fix it.
It's one of those things where you just, you got to get your energy to deplete a little bit, or just get more energized. Like you're in this like limbo kind of thing.
I
where
get
it's
in
just
like a funk.
And like sometimes when that happens, like you don't pay attention to what I'm saying, but you always remember. The thing with Hallie is she has a really good memory. I might say something to her and she's like, and I'll be like, what did I just say? And she'll repeat back exactly what I said, but she would not respond the first time. So she has a really good memory. She's listening, but she's just not responding to me. Whereas me, I'm not listening and I'm not responding.
That's like double whammy right there.
Yeah, so that's a problem. But yeah, there's just situations like that happen.
I think that comes from my ability to multitask though, because like the thing with you is like you look at your phone and you can't understand what I'm saying, but like I'm on my phone like reading something or looking something and I'm fully able to understand and comprehend what you're saying to me. So like it's easier for me. So like I was saying earlier, it's easier for me, but it's not as easy for you.
Yeah, I agree.
So do you think you can multitask?
I can, but it's okay. Even during work, like even when I'm working, I'll get multiple tasks handed to me. I don't have the ability to be like, okay, I'm going to put 1 hour to this task, 1 hour to this task. And I can't just like do a task and stop in the middle of that task.
Yeah.
Like I have to finish it. Like it's just a mental thing. It actually holds me back, I feel like, when I'm at work. Because if I just put an hour on each task and do them separated, it'll not only make me feel a lot less overwhelmed on all the tasks that I have to get done, but it will incrementally complete the tasks all together rather than me completing a task and then having 5 other tasks left, right? Whereas when you're able to multitask, you can do everything at once, an hour at a time, and then when you're done, everything's already done. Everything's completed. You're good to go. Where I don't know. I don't know how I could be better at multitasking. What do you do to be better at it?
I think it's just something that takes a lot of practice, to be honest with you. You have to really be consistent, and you have to take the initiative and really try and force yourself. One, I think you get stressed out a little bit easier than I do. So maybe like every, what's the rule? Every however many minutes you take a this many second or minute break or something like that.
That's the 5-minute rule where you do like 25 minutes of really hard focused work and then 5 minutes off. It's like there's like a term to it, but I don't remember. There's that, and there's also the hour method where you do hour of focused work and 10-minute break, hour of focused work, 10-minute break.
Yeah, well maybe you could start doing stuff like that, put your mind to it and be intentional about it and be like, okay, I'm going to work this hard on this thing for however long. I'm going to take a little break and then, I can switch modes to try and do this different task that I have. Or like something that helps me is listening to focus music. Like there's this, it's on YouTube, but you can probably, it's probably on Spotify. This was years ago when I was studying in college. I would put on this very like that kind of music. I would listen to it, but I would get stuff done.
Yeah, it's just ambient music.
but it wasn't called, it was just called like intense study music or something like that.
Yeah.
But like, maybe you could try that. There are just different things. You have to figure out what works best for you. But I think if you're just intentional about it and you're consistent and you keep trying different ways to multitask, and this goes with listening too. If you just try and really tune in and really like be intentional with how you're hearing things and try and actively engage in the conversation and start thinking ahead of like, ooh, I can ask this if the conversation goes this way, and just really try. Like, it takes practice. I'm not saying that like you can do this right now. Just like, it's hard, and it's taken me a long time to learn how to become a good active listener too.
Yeah, I agree. It's just one of those things that's going to take some time, but I'll get there. So we've talked about the things that we don't listen to each other about, right?
Yeah, and I want to ask you how you think us both struggling to listen or pay attention to each other can impact our relationship after you take your sip of water.
No, okay, so how it can affect our relationship?
Yeah, like what happens when situations happen where we're not listening?
We just we get frustrated.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you're not being heard?
I feel like I'm not being heard. I also, I just feel not great about it. Mm-hmm. It's just not fun. And I feel like you have other priorities, which is okay. But it's not fun when your significant other doesn't prioritize you for that little second that you needed them.
Well, yeah, and like think about something so exciting that I want to tell you. Like, oh my gosh, this happened at work today. I can't wait to tell you. And you're like not ready to listen to me. It kind of sucks the fun out of it. And you're like, all right, well, that kind of killed my mood.
Yeah, that is the worst. Like when you're super excited about something you've accomplished or something, or this is the same thing as like I'll call you and then you don't pick up.
Oh yeah.
That's the same thing. It's like, oh, man, now she's not.
Now the energy's just off. Like it's not going to be the same when I talk to her later.
But I do think you can work towards a way where you can continue to have that energy, even if you don't listen the first time. It's hard. It's not easy.
It's really hard because you have to kind of pick up your ego a little bit.
Yeah, Hallie.
You have to kick it to the side.
Yeah,
and just
your big old ego.
I have a big ego.
I'm just kidding.
Are you joking?
Yeah. So
I have a question for you.
What?
What are tips that you have to become a better listener, better partner in your relationship in listening?
So my goal is to become. This is what I say in interviews and stuff. My goal is to be a better active listener. You know, it's just.
You say that in interviews?
I do. I always say that because I always say like, whenever they talk about what's something you want to improve, I always say I want to be a better active listener. Reason being, I think being able to store that kind of short-term memory will help you gain more knowledge, not just in your relationship, but professionally. Being able to retain that information is very important. Best thing I do is write it down.
Ooh.
Not in your notes, you crazy.
Oh, like on your phone?
Gen Zs out there.
Don't type it out, write it out.
Write it out on a piece of paper. I bet people don't even use that anymore, pieces of paper. But I truly have a notebook that I write things down. If Hallie gets mad at me, I'll be like, okay, I've written down in my notebook. I have things that are written down that Hallie has been mad at me for, and I'll be like, do this to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, I don't do it often, but I should do it often. But that's just something that's helped me kind of remember to do certain things, make it into a habit. I think that's going to be huge. Like date night, for example. We didn't have that as a habit until we got married. And
we did, but not as often as we should have.
Well, I mean, even then I wouldn't prioritize it for sure. Like you would do all the planning. You would do everything for date night. And so being accountable, making sure that you are accountable for your mistakes. If you're the one not listening, make sure you tell your significant other, go to them, be like, hey, I haven't been listening, but I'm going to do better. And this is how I'm going to do it better. and I want you to keep me accountable for it.
It's a good tip.
What about you?
Yeah. I think overall, just mentally trying to be better. I mean, that sounds easy, but it's not easy because it takes practice, right? Every habit takes practice. But I think for me, like if you're coming to me and you have something exciting you want to tell me, and if I'm doing something else or I'm on my phone or whatever it may be, like as soon as you like maybe start with, hey, like I really need to talk to you about something, or like I have something important, or like, Hallie, I need your attention for a second, like put your phone away, whatever. I'll be like, okay, boom, away. Like, and I'll just completely give you my undivided attention. That's what I love. It makes me feel so special when you give me that. And I just feel like the most important person in the whole world when you just completely listen to me. Like I say all the time, like we're about to go to dinner, right? And I'm going to be so excited that we always put our phones away at dinner. We have a rule at dinner where we like don't do that. So maybe that would be a really good thing to implement actually if you're in a relationship. Have no phone time.
No phone time.
So that you are fully giving your significant other, your friend, whoever, like your family, undivided attentions. Gather
so you without
can gather.
a phone.
Gather without phones, baby. Yes, do that. That's a very important tip that I have actually, is the no phone, because I have heard so many people say to me that, oh, I wish my boyfriend or like husband, or I wish my girlfriend or whoever would give me more of their attention, but they're always on their phone. And like we're both guilty of that, obviously.
Yeah. I think our phones are turning our brains to mush.
They are. Oh my gosh. And everybody's addicted, myself included. Like my screen time keeps going up and up and up, and it's terrible.
My screen time is going down, baby.
Really?
Because I put app limits. So like it's not.
Yeah, but
as
you always
bad.
hit ignore. Like I watch you do it.
Yeah, but at least it stops me a little bit. Sometimes I click, I'm like, whatever. Yeah.
That's definitely a tip that I have, is with your significant other, have no phone time. And like you just sit and you stare at each other. No, I mean like go do something together. Go on a walk together. Leave your phones at home. Like you don't need them.
Facts.
You don't need your phone. Excuse me. You don't need your phone for everything.
You just burped.
I did. Oh, you want to hear a funny story? Oh, it's about burping. Remember what happened earlier?
What?
We had just had lunch and we were standing next to you. Or you were standing, I was facing this way. You were standing on my right side. You burped and a huge chunk of your protein bar landed on my face.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
You just imagined it.
You had must have burped so hard for that to just come up out of your system.
No, it was not.
Yes,
She's
it did.
lying, everybody.
No, it flew on my face. It flew on my face. Like,
Okay.
Speaking of burping. Anyways, so that's definitely one tip I have. Prioritize undivided attention time with your significant other. I think that could really do some good. That's one thing that we've implemented that has done really well that I love. Like when we go to dinner or walk or go on a drive together and we just hang out and it's nice.
Overall, just listen to your significant other. If you have any other tips that you'd like to share with us, I'd love to know.
Yeah, any tips, tricks you have, please
Leave a comment.
Comment, DM us, whatever. That would be great.
Yes.
With that, we're moving into everybody's favorite segment, which is Questions of the Week.
I love questions of the week.
Me
You guys
too.
have been sending in some good questions, so
Please keep
let's
doing
get
that.
into it.
What's the website? What's the link?
Oh, make sure you submit your questions at www.halfpastcha.com.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said any better. All
That's
right.
amazing.
Question number 1. Hello, my name is Anu Patel. Hello. I would love to hear both of your thoughts on this matter. I've recently entered the dating world and exploring what is out there. I noticed one thing that seems to be persistent is not moving out of the talking phase, and it seems like one side loses interest without giving it a fair chance. What are your thoughts on this? Thanks.
One side loses interest.
In the
Talking phase.
I remember that phase. We were talking.
So when you say you can't get out of the talking phase, does that mean like getting to the second date, you think? Is that what that means?
Yeah, I mean, like, they're just maybe, like, texting, and they're not getting out
Gotcha.
of that, or, like, going on maybe a real, like, actual date is maybe what I'm thinking.
I guess there's a lot of initiative that needs to be taking place to get out of that. Like, somebody's just, like, for example, I don't think you would have ever just dated me if I wasn't, like, sit down, get in the car, and you're going on this date with me.
Well, like, you would actively make plans. Like, we were still talking, but he would make plans that didn't really feel like dates. Like, you'd pick me up for school in the morning, or like we'd grab breakfast on the way, or you'd pick me up for a cross-country meet, or like we'd do things like that and start integrating that into our talking stage, and then it was easier to go on dates.
And I would say if you're a guy, the guy is the one that usually does like the initial planning. But I'd say if you're a girl and you plan a date and be like, hey, let's go on this date. This is what we should do. We can meet here,
Just
or
girl
come
boss
pick
the
me
situation.
up, or something like that, dude. If
I
we
did
were
that,
dating and you did that, I'm there. I'll be there. I'll pick you up. We'll go. I mean, that's just cool. I think that's really cool. So try that.
I think overall, yeah, just like you said, more initiative maybe needs to be taken. If you're just talking and it's flirting back and forth, yeah, it's fun, but that's going to get old after a while. You need to make actual concrete plans and be like, hey, we're going to meet up at this place Wednesday, 7 o'clock. You know, like,
Facts.
We'll do that, or like, we'll just go have a good time, or let's go on a picnic together, or like, whatever it may be. I think it is that you need to start to take initiative to get out of the talking stage and start to move towards actually going out, going on dates, talking in person more, hanging out, doing that sort of thing.
Perfect.
Boom. Next question. What was your first job during high school or college? And do you have any funny stories or favorite things about it?
Okay. That's a great question. My first job.
This is from Missy Marissi. Thank you, Marissa.
Oh, thank you. My first job was at Subway. You know, the normal Indian's first job. There's a lot, at least in Indiana. There's a lot. Almost every single Subway is owned by an Indian person, so it's very easy to get a job there if you're Indian. But my first job was at a Subway. I was a sandwich artist. That was my title.
I love that title, by the way.
And it was a really good job. But I made like minimum wage
then.
I made $7.25 an hour.
That was in 2015?
Yeah.
Okay.
2015. I was making $7.25 an hour, and I wasn't working like a ton. So my first paycheck came, and I saw like $30 something, and then I saw the minuses with the taxes, and it was like $17.95 or something was the end. So I got $17 for a full week's worth of work, and I was just like, this is for real?
Like, that's so defeating.
And yeah, I mean, it's not like I worked just 3 hours. I worked more than that. So
put in that work as a sandwich artist.
Yeah, and eventually I did get fired.
Okay, why? Share the story. Why did you get fired from Subway?
I had worked there for a good 4 weeks, 1 month, okay? And I was working on 4th of July, okay? And I didn't want to work on 4th of July. I said, hey, I have plans at, what was it? I said, I have to be done at 2 o'clock. That's what I said. 2 o'clock, I had to be done. And I had been there since 6 a.m. when they opened. Okay, 6, 7, I don't remember exactly what time. So like I had done all the prep, and I had worked alone as the only person at the Subway until 6, alone. So all these hours had gone by, okay? Every single hour had gone by till 2.
You're putting in the work.
Nobody showed up at 2 o'clock. There was a line out the door because I'm slow. It's only been a month. I'm still not good at making sandwiches. I'm not the full sandwich artist yet.
Yeah, you weren't the expert sandwich artist yet.
I had messed up a few sandwiches, so I was back up on the line. And yeah, they would be like, number 7. I'm like, what the f*** is number 7? I'm just like, what the... Anyways, 2 o'clock hit, and nobody was there to replace me, take over my shift. And then 3 o'clock hit, nobody was there. 3:30 hit, and I was like, F this, I'm out. And so I told everybody that was in the line, hey, we're closing, 4th of July, kicked everybody out, locked the door, left. Next day, got called saying, hey, I didn't, I'm done. Like, don't come back to the Subway.
You got canned.
And so I was like, heck yeah, dude, this is great. I don't want to work here anymore anyways. But what I'm mad about is I never got my last check. So
I think they withheld that from you on purpose.
it's still there, probably sitting collecting dust. Somebody must have taken it. But it had my name on it, so like it's just sitting there. I just lost that whole week's worth of revenue. So
of your sandwich artist revenue.
that was a big deal. All right, that's my story. Hallie, what's your story?
I worked at an old person's home. And it was terrible. I hated that place so much. I still get PTSD every single time I drive by it. It was, okay, so I worked there. I was a senior in high school. This was, I think it was 2017. It was my first job ever. Like, I'd only done babysitting and dog watching and like the, like typical high school stuff before then. So this was my first job. I had to interview for it, and I was a server in the kitchen. So I was like in the back. So it's a retirement home. And first off, let me just say, I was always pissed off because it was so hot in there. It was like 85 degrees.
Old people don't like the cold.
Because they were all cold. They all were bundled up and it was like 85 degrees in there. So I just leave there sweating, like drenched in sweat every single time. I worked there for a good 3 months.
Yeah.
I took so much time off too. So I didn't really work that whole time because I hated it. I'd just cry every time I had to go.
I still remember you had gotten back from a shift and they called you like, hey, can you come back? And you just started crying.
I remember that moment so well because it really just humbled me truly as a person so much because it was a Sunday. I worked from like 8 to 2 and I was like, okay, so, like I'm done. Like I went home and then they texted me and they're like, hey, can you come back in 30 minutes for another 4 hours? And I was like, what? Like what? What do you mean? I just started crying. I just started crying so hard. I hated it so much. That was my first day and it sucked. It sucked so bad. It just sucked. It was terrible. So that was my first job. I would always, because I hated dealing with the old people so much because they were so cranky and mean. Like these people specifically were just so grouchy literally all the time. They would complain that they're like, there's too much ice in my drink. You need to come take it out. Or like, my food's not hot enough. I'm like, I don't run the kitchen. Like, I'm just bringing this to you. Like, sorry about that. So I really feel for anybody who is in the service industry because I could not handle it at all. So you're amazing if you can do it. I'm not built that way. Like, I can't take that kind of career. Like I couldn't at the time. Like I was just a baby, really.
Yeah, if I was in a retirement home, I'd go to jail.
They were so mean and they would just like gossip and like stare and they were just not nice. These people were not great people. So to avoid that, I would always try and get dishwashing duty. Like I just wanted to wash the dishes the whole time so I didn't have to interact with anybody because I was so tired of dealing with these nasty, grouchy old people.
That's so funny.
I hated it so much. And I remember one thing that just like set me over the edge. I was like, you know what, forget this. Like I'm quitting. Something dropped. Like there was like a plate or two that dropped and broke and it literally was not my fault. And everybody looked at me and got so mad at me. And like the girls that worked there, like some of them weren't very nice and like it was just petty and like very cliquey and I'm just like this girl coming in and I was shy and nobody wanted to be my friend. So I was cursed from the beginning, okay? Like I did not enjoy this job.
But overall, I think that everybody should have a job like this once in their life. Something in fast food, something in the service industry. You have to have a job like that at least once in high school, maybe at the beginning of your college career. Do it because it'll show you why you are going to college. It'll show you why you need to work hard to get out of that situation.
That's very true.
It is not fun to be in that place.
No, it sucks and it's like truly horrible and I hated it so much. And so it really taught me the value of money too because like getting my paycheck, I'd be like, wow, I worked so hard for $57. Like this is pathetic.
Yeah, at least you're getting $57.
If that. I don't even think it was that.
Yeah, it was nuts, but I'm really grateful for those experiences. My second job was a lot better. It was Starbucks.
Oh,
Starbucks is actually kind of fun to work for.
That was great. I wish you still knew how to make those drinks.
If I went to Starbucks and I went right behind, I'd make a few. I can make a few.
Are you a coffee art or you're just a barista? Like that was your
barista.
title?
That was my title.
Your little green apron. I would come visit you all the time. I would just go and do homework and we just had so much fun. I didn't even like coffee then, which I was just talking to somebody about. But like I wish that I did because I would have taken advantage of that.
Yeah, I drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
for those 7 months. And then I didn't drink it again until like a year
Like
ago.
a year ago. Yeah. All right. Next question. What are the challenges that you face growing up as an Indian, but now living in an interracial relationship?
Wait, say that one more time.
How have your difficulties changed in life from growing up Indian in America, and then like also you're in an interracial relationship now? Do you get the question?
Okay, so growing up Indian in America was not that difficult for me, I would say. There were definitely times where people just didn't know how to say my, like every time I knew roll call was happening, like I knew they wouldn't say my name. And so like whenever like a teacher paused, I'd be like, Suketu, or
present.
like it's me, hello. And that was always frustrating. It's like not that, it didn't affect me in any way. And so that happened. There was times where I was bullied for my name. Most of the time, that's the only thing. Like my name. People just did not like my name.
Who are they? I'll kill him.
First grade, when it was the first time like a kid chased me at recess every day. Like it was like a good week, I would say. For a week, they would chase me every day, and then like on a Friday, I was like,
they
you know what?
They have a crush on you or something? Why are you chasing people?
Anyways, I was like, I'm done with this on like a Friday. I like stopped running for a second, and they took me and they like punched me in the face. Like they took me against the fence and they punched me. That was the first time I had ever experienced like an actual bully. And I was like, why are you doing this to me, dude? And it just didn't make any sense. So anyways, I told on him to my teacher, which was a big mistake because now I'm a tattletale.
Is that worse than?
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Don't do that. Actually, no, do that. If somebody actually is bullying you, make sure you tell somebody.
Tell somebody.
Don't care about tattletales. But at the time, in my generation, okay, tattletale was very bad. And what? After that, I think there was a period of time where I was like in 7th grade, I was experienced a little bit more of that bullying for no reason, for being smart. Like I was in like the lower classes. Like I was never in like the advanced classes till I got into high school. So like I was in like some of the lower end classes, like not honors based classes. And I was like, I'd never get anything but an A+ in everything. I always wanted to get into honors classes, but for some reason I couldn't get in. But anyways, I would always get A+, and because of that, there would be no like change in like the grades or curves or anything. And people would get mad at me for that. So like they'd like, if I was wearing like a hoodie, they'd like take my hoodie and like put it over my head and like try and suffocate me and stuff.
Who are they?
Anyways.
Tell me right now.
That stuff happened when I was in school. And it wasn't really because I don't think it was because I was Indian. I think there was just a few.
People were jealous that you were smart.
Well, that was 7th grade. I think the only time was like when I was in like 1st grade. People just couldn't say my name. So they were like, let's bully this kid.
That makes me so sad.
Yeah, it's tough out there.
Because you're still, you're so kind-hearted to this day, and just to think about somebody doing that to you, I would, like, if I could go back in time, I'd push them like up against a wall and just punch them till they, I'm not gonna, okay, I would punch them. I
myself would like to go back in time and just see myself in that situation and give him some advice, I wish I could go back and just be like, hey, make sure you punch him next time.
Here's a brick. Hit him over the head with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Give him a taste of his own medicine. So, didn't somebody drop a brick on your head? Yeah,
somebody did drop a brick on my head in kindergarten.
Like, what is wrong with people?
Yeah. That's a story for another time. We'll talk about bullying another time, but that's kind of the gist of it.
All right, next question. What do you do if you miss your partner? I text with her a lot, but I don't think this alone is a good strategy.
If you miss your partner?
Mm-hmm. Is it like a very long distance relationship or like what's the situation?
If you're in a long distance relationship, it's hard. FaceTiming every day is an essential.
A must.
You got to do that. Something else that could help that I love doing is like whenever I'm like out of town and stuff, playing games together.
Oh, yeah.
So like Hallie will go ahead and stream like Fortnite or something like that. Follow us at Suketu Patel on Twitch. But she'll like whenever I'm gone, she'll stream on Twitch, and then I can join the Discord or the stream on Twitch if I'm like working or doing something. I'll like join, put my headphones in, and I could hear her playing. I could see her playing as well. I it's just fun. And if you have a Switch, you can go ahead and play with them. That's always fun too.
Bring your Switch when you're in California.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll
really
try.
good idea.
But anyways, it's fun to like play games with each other. If you're not into video games, there's other things you can do.
Ooh, Disney and Netflix have like the watch party stuff. That's fun.
Watch parties are always fun.
And you can be texting on the side and be like, "Ooh, look, what did you think about this part?" Or like that's fun to do.
Definitely planning to visit each other often is always essential as well if you're in long distance relationships.
Yeah, so you got to do a little bit more than texting. Definitely do the phone calls. Definitely try and do like games or like watching something together. Try and actively plan out the time that you're going to see each other. Like if, say you lived in California or whatever, we'd be like, okay, like we could either meet halfway, you come to Indy, I go to California, but like let's try and make this happen as often as we can, even though it's expensive, but we want to see each other and, actually get time together. So it takes work. So I'm sorry if you're in a long distance relationship, that is hard. It just takes a lot of work and it's going to have to be a little bit more than texting. So just try and think of like fun different ways that you guys can interact with each other. That's my advice.
Facts.
Last question. Where'd it go? Oh, what are your guys' plans for next year? Trips, meetups, career, family?
Next year's going to be a big year.
I can't wait.
We're actually in a wedding together. That's never like happened ever. Oh. And so next year, big month. November is going to be huge. It's going to be awesome.
Next year's going to be a big traveling year.
It's one of our like most amazing friends ever. They've been on the podcast, Ronak and Arushi. So that's going to be huge. I'm definitely going to bring my camera.
Yeah, and vlog it.
I'm going to vlog that. I'm going to vlog it. It's going to be amazing. So I'm very excited for that next year. I really want to go to the United Kingdom next year, but I don't know if it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It'd be fun. It'd be really fun to just visit because we've always wanted to go. And we can make that into more of a shorter trip. Like it doesn't have to be like a full week. We could go for like 5 days over a weekend.
It's just hard to fit in we have minimal vacation time.
Yeah.
Like that's the only issue that we're facing because we do want to go out there for a reason because we have a wonderful couple that we really want to interview for our podcast.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. Meetup wise, we're going to be in New York again. So
really?
For sure next year.
Yay! Okay, wait.
We'll be in New York again next year. I want to go during like more so when the summer starts, not like while it's cold. I'll probably go back to New York while it's cold for work, most likely. Mm-hmm. But for an actual like personal trip, sometime in the summer would be amazing. And other than that, nothing else really big planned.
We'll be just going to India January 2025.
Yeah, just trying to save up our vacation days to be able to go for 2 weeks again to India in 2025, which will be awesome.
And then we'll probably have like the sporadic trips, planned. Like we did a lot of weekend getaways this year and things like that. So, but definitely the top of my list would be go to New York. I want to visit it in different times of the year. Like we went when it was hot, so I'd like to go when it was cold or like in the fall time. And then I want to go during Christmas time. That would be my dream.
That'd be awesome.
I'd cry if we could do that because one, it is really expensive like during Christmas time because so many people want to go there, which understandably so. It's beautiful. But it would just be such a cool experience to be able to do that.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. We'll keep you updated with the trips that we're taking and the plans that we have. If you ever want to meet up wherever we're at, like he said, he's going to be in California. Go visit him.
Just follow us on Instagram. I always post where I'm at. And so many people come say hi, which is awesome. And we're going to continue doing that.
Yeah. That was my last question.
That was it?
Yeah.
Guys, this was awesome.
Guys.
Now you know why we don't listen to each other, why we need to be better at it.
Why we suck at it. Yeah.
And you got to listen to a lot of questions. Keep submitting those questions at www.halfpastshot.com.
Yes.
And on Instagram, you can just DM us. We always record all these questions in a document. We keep them, and then we go ahead and answer them during the podcast. Mm-hmm. Also, if you're interested, we do have like this. You do not have to do it, but we do have like a membership on YouTube. It helps support us a lot. We're going to be buying some podcast equipment to upgrade our quality in a way.
We're putting members-only content on there.
So for members-only content, we are putting out a video every week just of us reacting to things. It's also
Anything goes.
us just talking to the camera, something extra. And if you are interested, go ahead and join. But other than that, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video if you're watching the video. If you're watching on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you give us 5 stars. It helps us a lot. And make sure you follow us on all the socials. From that, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time at Half Past Child.